So I'm going to be showing you, oh hi, it's Lee from Lee in the Sweet Life. I'm trying to just do some videos to make people smile. And so today I'm just going to cook something that from store cupboard things. Now I looked in my pantry, which is actually quite full because I make food for a living from here. So I've always got lots and lots of, I'm just looking in here, do you know what? I'm looking knackered. No makeup on, so hey, where's Facetune when you need it? And so I have a lot of strange and wonderful things in my pantry, but I've always got a lot of flour and things like that. But what I thought I'd do is literally make something that I would think that everybody can make and that you can look in your pantry and adapt it to whatever you have. So I thought I'd make a quiche, okay? This is for those people who are probably self-isolating, those people who are really ill. I'm so sorry. Feel better soon. Reach out to anybody that you can if you need help. And anybody who is well, reach out to those who you think may be needing a little bit more help. So let's just help each other. So what did I have in my pantry? So I know I've got flour. Now I've got self-raising and plain flour here. Okay, so we're going to use both of those. I have eggs, I've got 5 eggs. And I have some very on the last leg leeks, can you see? I've actually peeled off the outer shell, or the outer leaves of that, because they were a bit, you know when you leave them in the fridge too long and they go a bit, but don't be fooled. If this is all you've got, don't throw them away. In fact, you can see how many layers of leaves I've taken off there, but they're fine. I've got some very, very out-of-date asparagus. But 14th of March, I think this is, but honestly, it's out of date, but it's absolutely fine. I'm stretching over here. I've got a tin of wild Pacific pink salmon in something or other, and I have got some margarine. So they're the things that I have in my fridge and cupboard. Okay, we're going to make a quiche out of that. Now, if you haven't got leeks, and if you've just got an onion, use that. If you haven't got asparagus, that's fine. If you've got mushrooms or a pepper or whatever, use that. If you haven't got salmon, use a tin of tuna, or use some leftover bacon, or some leftover ham, or just make it a veggie one if you've got some cheese. Just do whatever you want to do. This is just about just sort of sharing stuff here and making sure that we're all, you know, having a nice time. So that's what I'm doing now. So what I'm going to do first of all is to chop up my leeks. No, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to make some pastry. So I'm going to get the thing and then I shall be back. Okay, so round 2. This is what I'm doing. I should have planned this, obviously. It's just that I needed something for Mr. G's tea, so I didn't have everything out. So I'm going to make the pastry by hand. I would normally make it in the food processor, but that's over there and I'd have to turn my phone around and anyway, so I'm going to put in 120 grams of plain flour. Okay, so don't waste it. And that's way too much there, so I'm going to take some of that out because yay. There you go. Back in there, don't waste anything. And I'm going to then add 120 grams of self-raising flour, which will give me 240. This was never my forte, but there we go. I'm not even sure people are watching these, but they make me feel better just to feel like I'm doing something to help. So I'm going to put all that in there. And then I'm going to use 125 grams of margarine. I'm not going to waste that because I've got some on there on my knife. So let me just find a spoon. 120 grams of margarine. I've got a digital scale here, but you know, use whatever scale you have. And most of you out there will probably know how to make pastry. If not, don't worry about it. Just follow this recipe. It's really, really easy. Oh, look at that, 119. Oh my lord. get on there. That's going to be over, but we'll just leave it over. Pop that aside because we're going to need that in a second. Okay, then I'm going to add a little bit of salt here to my flour. And then pop that in there. Okay. I'm not going to use my hands. I'm going to use my cutterina. I'm sure there's a technical term for this, but I'm just going to do this. I will get my hands into it eventually. Tell me, tell me what you've got in your store cupboard. If you send me messages, and what I'll do is I'll try and make some recipes, make something that's a friendly recipe based on the stuff you have. I think you'll find that if you just use a little bit of your imagination, then there's always something you can make here. Again, it's not that there are any food shortages. It's just that maybe that you can't get your hands on anything at the moment. And anybody who is, oh gosh, bulk buying, can we please stop it? And look after the people who are going to save our lives, possibly. Our lives, our parents' lives, our grandparents' lives, our children's lives. Firemen, policemen, NHS workers, care workers, okay? Anybody like that. And also, the people working in shops and things like that. They're the ones that are keeping us going. So I've just put that together, and I haven't put it all, it's not uber smooth. Can you see? It's not, yeah, it's uber smooth. It's still got lots of lumps in there, which I'm fine about. And I'm going to bring that together with my hand now. Just a little bit. And I'm probably going to add a little bit of water to that. See, I should have planned this ahead, shouldn't I? I'm going to add a drop at a time. The nice thing about this pastry recipe is if you add too much liquid, don't panic. Just add a little bit more plain flour to it. Don't add any more self-raising flour because we don't need it to lift too much. And if all you have is plain flour or self-raising, just use the one. Don't see, it's a really, really, really easy adaptation of a recipe. So I'm just going to add another literally quarter of a teaspoonful there until it all just comes together. Once this has come together, I'm going to just sit it aside while I prepare all the rest of the things. I'm very lucky with Mr. G, who's my lovely husband. He's fine with it, whatever I cook with him. He likes good food. And he thinks I make good food, which is very nice. You see it's all coming together, but he, sometimes things don't go right, and he still eats all the experiments. It reminds me of my dad when I was learning to bake and cook with my mum. Okay, so keep working that until you've got a bundle of it. You're not going to waste anything, I'm just going to suck all of that up. I don't know about you, I'm not sure how I feel about all of this. I mean, it's horrific, everything that's going on. Yeah, just leave that like that. So set that aside for a little while we do the rest. I'm just going to give my hands a scrape off. Of course, make sure that you wash your hands and everything before you do this. And I'm going to chop some vegetables now to just fry up in my pan just for a little bit, just to soften them down a bit before I put them into the still got things sitting on my, there we go, on my phone from Twitter and the Twitter world. It's a very, very scary time, and even though we all know everybody's, it's all going to end at some point, I think it's the uncertainty. I know it makes me very anxious, and some people don't know this, but I am quite an anxious person. Please don't use that against me. And I think it's okay to admit that people are anxious and that you may be anxious. You just chop them. I think right now everybody's trying to be strong, and that's great, and we have to be together. But sometimes it's seen as a weakness to be going, I'm a little bit scared of what's going to happen, or I'm a little bit anxious about what's going to happen. If you've got children, that's got to be a really scary thing to be thinking about as well, looking after your children. Especially if you're ill and the children aren't. And I know all the children are back at school now, and you're just thinking about how to look after the children. So maybe these videos will be just a little bit of something for you to look at. If anybody is into crikey, what's the name of it? Help me out here. Nina West. Anyway, she is one of my favourite drag artists, and she started to. So hello, Nina. She started to do these wonderful live Instagrams for the children, and if you click into her Instagram and just follow her, she's just absolutely awesome. She has a heart of gold, and I haven't met her. I would like to. And she's got these wonderful, wonderful shows which are just for children. It's a story time and it's a song, you know, but it's for adults. It's such a reassuring thing, and I think she's housebound at the moment. I'm just going to cut the ends of these housebounds. Like I say, they were in my bottom of the fridge. You know when you find the bits at the bottom of your fridge? And these are fine. I mean, they're great for quiche and things like that, but I am going to just chop the bottoms off, and then I'm just going to chop them into little smaller sections, can you see, just so I can soften them a little bit before them go into the quiche. Yeah, she's doing these wonderful things for children, which is absolutely fabulous, to get children just to feel a bit less worried. And you'll be able to find lots and lots of things like that on social media, and I'm hoping that this becomes something like that, and it probably won't, and nobody will probably watch it, but it makes me feel better to feel like I'm doing something out there. So anyway, here we're going to put some little bit of oil in, popping those into there. I'm not going to cook them a long time, and I could boil them, I could parboil them and things like that, but I just want to do the easiest ever. And you know what, I've just literally lost loads of them down there. I'm trying to make life easy, so I'm going to put those on, let them just do their stuff. Right, while that's happening, I'll find my rolling pin, and I've got a loose bottomed tin, and I'm going to use my margarine again, and I've got some parchment paper. I'm just going to do that. Make sure that it's all in all of the crevices and little bits. If you don't have any margarine over, butter will do, oil will do as well. And then we're going to have a little bit of flour. My first one in, which is self-raising. I'm going to just do that. Make sure it's all over. And I'm not going to waste the flour either. It's going to go back into the bag. Because I think tomorrow I'm going to try and, I have no idea what I'm going to make tomorrow, so. It's in there. Okay, so basically that is ready to be covered. And I have another one there, but I shall do that later. And just give this a little snuff around. In our little village, I live in a little village called Woolsingham. So Woolsingham, up the Dales, places like that is where all my friends live at the moment. I'm just going to get some flour. Can we do it on here? Yeah, let's do it on here. Because that's already prepared. And a lot of my friends have shops. I'm just going to press that down to start it off. Okay, this isn't a perfect pastry. If it breaks up, that's fine. Let's just go with it. But a lot of my friends live around here and have work, as in it's their bit small businesses, and most of them have had to close down, which is a very scary time for small businesses. It's a very scary time for big businesses because a lot of big businesses are putting work hours on hold. I'm going to come back to that in a second because I just want to look at this. Again, I'm not looking to cook them properly, just to soften them a little bit. I'm going to add some pepper. Let me get this side. Some pepper. It's good to season at this stage, and I've got some paprika, is my favourite thing. Can you see this country here? This is just all my herbs and spices. Putting some paprika in there. I like it a lot. It's not smoked paprika, it's just ordinary. So it's not spicy, it just adds flavour. I'm hoping you can hear me. So I just said that's not spicy, it just adds flavour. So that's what I was doing. So anyway, it's best to season everything. If you can season everything as you go along, then that will add layers of flavour. So even if you just got eggs in your quiche, then that will be add lots and lots of flavour to it. So yeah, it's a very scary time, and lots of people, big companies and small companies, are closing, and I think it's going to get worse before it gets better. So I've rolled that out. It has broken up a little bit, but I'm not too bothered, because what I'm going to do is, I'll show you, I'm going to roll it onto there, and it's a very short pastry, so that means it should be quite crumbly. I'm going to pop that onto there like that, and then just pull it across. There you go. And then just very gently, very crumbly. But hey, you know, I used to decorate cakes. And I'm very, very randomly and gently pushing it into the corners. Anything that's left over, that's fine. I'm going to leave that there because I'll cut that off later. But be careful, when the pastry split while I was rolling it, that was fine. But once it's in here, I want it pressed to get all those cracks up. And actually, I'll show you a way of sealing that properly if I need to later. Okay. So anyway, so that's like that. Then oh, hello. Let's do this. Oh gosh, there's always a way, isn't there? There's always a way. It's never a problem. You know, I could have put some seasoning in the pastry too. You know, that's not a perfect pastry, is it? Let's give this a shake. Off now. Now I'm just going to set this aside, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to set this aside for a few seconds. I'm going to heat the oven. I'm going to put some foil on the bottom of there and some baking beans, and then I shall come back to you. Okay, back again. I've just realised I needed another bowl, so hold on. If only I knew what I was doing. Okay, and I'll show you why I need another bowl. So what I've done is I've actually made two, because I suddenly realised that Mr. G probably needs something for his lunch tomorrow. And as he's going to work, and he obviously doesn't want to go and buy stuff from the canteen and everything, he doesn't normally take prepared lunches, but he will. We love taking leftovers and things like that, so because we never ever leave anything. Swear to goodness, if we cook on a Sunday, everything's reused, repurposed Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. That's what I think we all need to get into. Anyway, I made a small one, made another batch of pastry, and some of the pastry I haven't used, and I've got in here, which I'm going to put into the freezer, because later in the week I will make a pie, and I don't want to waste that. So I'll freeze it, and then make another batch of pastry later in the week, combine the two for a top and a bottom of a pie. So we'll see what's in my freezer actually. So anyway, I've foiled these, and I've put these beans on, and I've just taken them out the oven, and let them cool for a little bit. So I didn't want to touch them straight away because it's hot. I didn't use the trays, I just used these, which are very hot, but I do want to put them back in the oven on the tray. And so here's the smaller one. So if you don't have baking beans, and actually I would never have bacon beans if it wasn't for Fond at Nathan Street's Cafe. Yeah, I wouldn't. My mum used to use rice. In fact, lots and lots of occasions she never ever used anything, and she just didn't even blind bake it. Quiches were just pastry, raw pastry with everything in, and I quite like the soggy bottom. I know people go, "Why do I want a soggy bottom?" But I actually like it. Anyway, so we're going to have, I'm going to share this out. Can you see that's all just a nice ready brownie colour is the paprika that I put in. So I'm going to put some of this in the bottom. I'm not going to get rid of all this pastry around the edges. See, it's not pretty, but you know, should I do it? Yeah, okay. You're saying yes. I'll show you. I won't do it on the other one, but I'll show you on this one. If you want it to look incredibly pretty, just get a knife and do that, okay? But I'm really not going to, because I want the pastry. I enjoy the pastry, and I'm not about looking chefy. If I wanted to, I would just, you know, make it look really pretty. But it's for eating, and we enjoy the pastry. Now we spent a lot of time on the pastry, so why throw it away? Anyway, so I'm going to add a little bit to this smaller one here, which I don't think you can see on camera, but it's probably best because it ain't looking good. Yeah, so let's do that. A bit more on this one. So again, remember this is just the leeks. I've had a couple of leeks which are coming to the end of their life, and some asparagus which was coming to the end of its life. And I just pop them into a hot pan, not to cook, just to soften. Not to cook all the way through, just to soften. Added salt and pepper, some paprika. My favourite thing. You know what? If your favourite thing is saffron, add saffron. If your favourite thing is oregano, add oregano. Do whatever you like. I also got a tin of red salmon here, and all I did was de-tinned it, drained it, and popped it in there with nothing. I'm just going to put a little bit all over. In fact, put the whole tin all over, and I'm going to share it out on the other one if there's any left. If there's not, then Mr. G will have just leek and asparagus quiche, which is fabulous. In fact, I think I might do that. I think we'll have the salmon tonight, and then Mr. G can have the leek and asparagus tomorrow. So there's all the salmon's on that one there. Right. Spread it right to the edges. You know, and if you don't have a loose bottom tin, I've got loads of ceramic ones that I use all the time. I say because I like a soft bottom on my quiche. So I would normally throw a quiche in the oven with raw pastry and put everything in it, sure thing. But so I don't mind having a ceramic dish, raw pastry, everything in. So I've got lots of ceramic dishes. So if that's all you have, use that. It's not rocket science. It's not. You don't have to follow it precisely. It's about what you have. This is pantry. So in here I have got 5 large eggs, and I think I've topped it up with half a litre with the milk. So 5 large eggs in there, salt and pepper. I'm going to pour that in there. Okay. See that? And then I'm going to pour the rest into the small one for Mr. G. So that's doing 2 quiches. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to pop that in the oven, and I'm going to let that cook for 20, 25, 30 minutes. When it's cooked, I shall bring it back out and let you have a look at it. Okay, so see you in a bit. Okay, well here's the quiche. Yeah, I'm going to let it cool. It took me, I left it in there for 25 minutes and then checked on it and gave it another few minutes. So as long as it's got a tiny little wobble in the middle, can you see a little wobble? But firm at the same time, then it's cooked. You can also see I've got a hot spot in my oven. I need a new oven. Does anybody else like that? So you can see I've got a hot spot in the oven at the back of the oven there, which is why that's darker. But you know what? All ovens are different, so check the temperatures. So that's it, I think. But can I please ask everybody to look after themselves? Send me messages if you see what's in your pantry. And if you're going to make a quiche, then great. If not, send me a list of stuff that you have in your pantry, and I'll see if I can come up with a recipe for it. That would be fun. I'm going to try and do these as often as possible. Like I say, I'm not even sure anybody's watching. If you are, give me a wave, hello. And have a look at the Nina West video for your kids. It's actually lovely. It is really, really lovely. It's all about keeping kids happy and making them feel positive and everything. Be safe. See you next time. Oh, and I also forgot, oh my gosh, I'm so professional at this, to tell you that, I'll ask you if maybe you want to start organising your foodie book clubs now. So you can contact up people in their home and go to the website leeandthesweetlife.com, check out what this month's book is, download it on audiobooks so you don't have to go out and buy stuff, and then organise with family and friends. At the end of the month you all FaceTime each other in group time or whatever you're going to do and have a chat about it. So it's a nice way of keeping in contact with people that you know. And then keep doing that, and I'll keep posting every month the new books. Okay, so once again, definitely see you next time.